Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. You know, I spent almost 5 minutes trying to adjust this camera, and just little things like that annoy the hell out of me sometimes. And I don't know if you know, being involved with the narcissist, when you were involved with them, what they do is transfer their energy, their persona, their whole behavior traits, like, you know, being very short patient. I remember the one that I was married to, or still married to, the narcissist. Very covert. You wouldn't know she was if you met her. She's so quiet, unassuming. I've said that before in times past, but in traffic, she would always just, they're very impatient in traffic. You know, somebody in front of them can be doing just the smallest thing, like driving a little bit slower than maybe the speed limit, but going about their way. And all of a sudden, this knee-jerk thing, you're just like going about your little drive or your excursion. This particular time I was on the passenger seat, and she was driving, and all of a sudden she blurts out, come on, you gotta be kidding me. And I was like, what happened? She was like, in front of me, these people. And I was like, what are they doing? What do they do, cut you off or hit the brakes? All of a sudden, she's like, no, they're just like, they're so slow. And I was like, well, how about we just slow down for maybe, I don't know, let's slow down for quite a distance and let them go ahead. Give them probably 60 seconds. And I said, well, we won't have to deal with them anymore. I said something to that effect. Do you know that doesn't suffice the narcissist? When you are a problem solver, when you want to resolve something, they want no part of that. They want no part of resolution, solutions, peace. See, Christ said, I am the Prince of Peace. And so when you have peace that surpasses all understanding, which he says he'll give you once you abide and obey and come into his way of doing things, essentially. When they say obey, people don't like that word obey. Narcissist doesn't like obey. In the vows, obey, they don't like that. I remember going, and when we did the vows, we didn't go to church. Can't stand the church in the traditional form of marriage, the way the church does it. I think it just should be an authentic, wholesome, in-depth communion between you and that woman. It shouldn't be about all of this other stuff that we do today. So anyway, it should be a celebration, of course. You should be very happy. You should have a lot of friends and family around to celebrate you in that. But you get my point. All the bells and whistles, I can do without it. So we did this at a hotel, very small wedding. When the pastor, who I now without a doubt know that he and his wife are master manipulators, and they're somewhere on the spectrum, but I haven't had time to even think on them. They moved away shortly after we got involved in this church, or I got involved in this church, came to visit this narcissist on an invite. If you go back to my videos, you'll see that I talk about this not so much in depth, but I tell you the whole little spiel. They moved away mysteriously because he's like retiring. Man's like 55, 60 years old. You're retiring. No health issues or whatnot. Just mysterious. And so later on, I reached out to him when I discovered I was with a narcissist. And I recorded it. I still have this recording. And for some reason, deep inside of me, I've recorded several instances. When I got fired from my job, I recorded that. I implore you, empaths, keep you a recorder of some type, your smartphone. See, America and the narcissistic society we're in, notwithstanding videoing people in compromising positions, no one realizes that your smartphone is a recording device. And we always talking out of pocket. And so to this point, I recorded a lot of things time past. I've also recorded a lot of endeavors with these narcissists that I've met in most recent times. And of course, it may pay me homage later, dividends later, but that is what I determined to do because I just don't trust the average human being, especially when they're giving narc vibes. And to my hunch, I was right because they disappear, poof. I awakened so well to the point where I can smell a narcissist. That's why I'm not in a relationship right now. I eject the relationship before they do. And nothing destroys a narcissist worse than when you eject, ghost, discard them. You have to reflect their behavior back to them. This is the only way you're going to win. Going on and just let bygone be bygone, that's one thing in and of itself. But do you know a narcissist will be waiting on the bench to get into the game of your life, to finish destroying you where that narcissist left off at? You know why? Because they can sense your energy, almost like the predator. They can sense the heat. They can sense your vibrations. So to my point, the vows, which I didn't forget, when it came to the point of saying, do you take this man to be your wedded husband, lawfully wedded husband, awfully wedded, to love, honor, and obey. And when they said obey, this idiot cringed. See, all of these were signs. And you may not even be a narcissist, so you may not buy into the obey part. If you say you believe in God and you believe in the book, the Bible, and to say you don't want to say obey, you're not obeying so much your husband. You're obeying the union of a wife under God's guidance. Meaning obey, you submit upon your husband to go along with whatever his wisdom from God dictates for that family. Come on, let's be real, guys. We underthink things, and when we shouldn't, and we overthink things when we shouldn't, or underthink when we shouldn't, and overthink when we shouldn't too. So yeah, very, very trigger. They're very trigger happy, moody, grouchy, angry, disgusted. And so you will adopt some of their behaviors because my patience is probably worse than it's ever been. Although I admit it to my children, with love, and I tell them, dad is really, this is all new to me, fatherhood, And when I say all new to me, they're 13 and my older kids are in their 20s, but it is new to me because I didn't begin to really exercise fatherhood until 31, 32 years old when I came from prison. My first child was born in 97, my son. He was 6 months old when I went away. He was 5 years old when I came back. So I've roughly been at this 20 years, and my kids are 13. So even with my first son, 27, I came back, he was 5. I only had maybe 24 months in the house with my daughter and my son. My daughter's a year younger than him, before my first wife ousted me out of that situation. And I've also doted on the fact that I believe my first wife, in fact, is a narcissist because of the gaslighting. I look back and I replay the tapes in my head, and the way she's she's leveraged my children against me. We had, created a union of sorts, or communication of sorts. When I was going to the little community college, they were already enrolled there too. So we kind of bumped into each other for that little short period of time, 6 months or less. I really did, I communicated with them here or there in the cafeteria, and it was a hopeful thing. And all of a sudden that ended up being, that was whisked away. It dissipated, and now I am here with, custody of my twins, which I've had them for about 6 years. But there's still an empty hole there with the older children. Any father who have had a disconnect with his children, to no part of your own, You didn't desert them. You didn't just walk out of their life, but because of how the ex has leveraged them against you in using the law to do it. It's an atrocious thing. No normal, healthy person does that. Even if a woman's been traumatized, she would not. I mean, withstanding narcissism and the personality disorder of sort. If she's been traumatized, went through a lot of stuff in relationship, somehow or another in her heart, she is going to find it in the best interest of those children to allow that communication between that father and those children. You have to be pretty screwed up to just ostracize the father of your children to the degree you choose for them unanimously in and of yourself not to let these children have any access to their father. But this is in part with the just a short patience. Got in an accident, got hit by a car last year right before I got this job that I recently got fired from. Just if you look at the life that has transpired with myself over the last pretty much since I was 17, you will undeniably come to a point of realizing that, and you all have stories such as this if you just can think back. But what an empath does, we take it on the chin. We roll with the punch. Something within us, deep within us, is resilient, tenacious when it comes to being oppressed or being ostracized or being counted out. So you're not chosen by a lot of people, but you are a chosen one. So when you're a chosen one, you're not meant to be chosen or picked or selected by the world. You want no part of it. You're not even angry or disappointed. That's the thing. They're mad because they couldn't make you mad. That's power. When you see the ruse coming, think about Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote. He doesn't stop. The narcissist won't stop. To the point where they've pretty much exhausted themselves and pulverized their own self by their own wicked devices, but they still don't stop. They made Roadrunner, and it was supposed to be such a comical thing, and I would sit there on Saturdays, because when I was coming up, cartoon only came on Saturdays, one time. Now you can just click the remote and you can go back and watch it and everything. Those were the times, man. You had to wait. And if you didn't, talk about VCR, I don't even think we had VCRs in the 70s. If you missed it, you missed it. You'd have to ask somebody what happened, and you'd have to take their word in detail of what happened. So you will adopt these behaviors that the narcissist has and demonstrates. Subconsciously, you will do it. And unbeknownst to yourself, you won't attribute this to a narcissist and the interactions with them. They pretty much are trained assassins, and they're training you. Take the movie Salt with Angelina Jolie. Look at the movie Salt, Angelina Jolie. All through the movie, I thought she was actually being trained to do exactly what they told her to do. And she was. But guess what, at the end? I don't want to give that away. That'd be a nice little cuddle up under a blanket with your significant other or your kids or your self and your little pet or a little bowl of ice cream. And check this movie out. Because when you watch it, I don't encourage you to watch any wickedness by any means. But the whole premise of you watching this, I want you to think narcissist all the way through it. And for many of you, when you watch movies now that you watched before you dealt with the narcissist, you have to watch them with that mentality for education purpose. Don't watch them for a sensationalized purpose. Because when you start watching these movies as an endorsement to what this foolishness is in our world. I was telling somebody today, I saw the black in this girl's eyes, this narcissist I'm married to. This white part here in both eyes, it all turned black. It's like her eyes dilated and it was black. I looked up and I saw this whole eye black. And you notice you got dark eyebrows. So even if you got light eyebrows, you have a shadow here. So when she has, in essence, when that part of that eye got black, this part here being shaded already, because you have, your forehead protrudes out. It made her eyes look huge and dark and black. It was menacing. And any of you guys in this video comment, let me know, have you seen the dark black eyes? And only a few people have had the unfortunate privilege to see this. But I want to say I'm privileged to have seen it, because this is undeniably the deepest part of the narcissist that you will ever witness, notwithstanding the behavior. This is when you know unequivocally you are dealing with a demon. And so for anyone who has seen this and you're still hopeful that that relationship is still gonna work itself out, you really probably need to seek some real deep psychotherapy, because you're deeply enmeshed, you're deeply trauma bonded into this. And I'm not judging you because of that, but you need to hear what I just said. You are deeply traumatized. You're deeply distorted in your thinking process. So this is your wake-up call. Now, I'm over here and I'm over there, but all of these things are connected. We're talking about a mood. We're talking about how the narcissist pretty much goes on to destroy your consonants, your state of mind. I mean, I was very intuitive before I discovered narcissism, because a lot of this hocus pocus that people did before I became aware of narcissism and narcissist personalities, or I had an intuition of sorts. And being a chosen one, I believe that that's God's protector for us, which He affords, I think, every human being that particular gift. But most of us don't take that gift. We reject it. We downplay our intuition. But God bless the man and woman or child that hones in on that intuition. The Holy Spirit is just the icing on the cake, but intuition is given to each and every human being that walks the face of this earth, if you choose to accept it. So, didn't really have no really specific thing that was on my mind to talk about. I just pretty much push record and start yakking, as I often do sometimes. And that's just the way that I choose to do it, because again, I feel like people who are more authentic and more down to earth and talk straight from the cuff or the hip, shoot straight shooters. We are the ones that you see every day out in life that are just like you. We just have graduated to another level and to another element of our life, to where now we are ready to help someone else, bring them aboard so they don't drown in this madness. Yeah, the boat may be full, but you know what? We would risk it capsizing, because we don't want anyone to perish. You have one life to live, and a couple of us content creators, we say that you have one life to live. It is your choice how you live it. I'd be damned if we would let monsters and demons, be it a pastor who's a narcissist, a doctor who's a narcissist, a parent who's a narcissist, or a brother who has you looking up to him for all the wrong reasons, a sister has you out there tricking and selling your body because she telling you that's how you get your ends, that's how you get your bag. Shoplifting. doing all sorts of crazy stuff that's so unethical. It goes beyond someone being judging you. This is just atrocious. This is not a human behavior that any of us should like, and myself included. I'm not gonna front. I've bought stuff from guys popping up. Hey, you want to buy this? In my intuition, knowing it's probably stolen. So this is sort of like two different things, but it really boils down to the same thing. I don't go look for things I don't go looking for problems. I don't go looking for unethical approaches to life. I like to pay my way. Have I done that, what I just said in times past? Bought stuff that I perceived might have been stolen? Yeah. What I'm talking about, don't condition your mind to continue to do corrupt things. The more you gravitate towards spiritual things, the more you gravitate towards sound things that will get you not just by in life, but will get you to the finish line, you will find out you never needed that narcissist. And when you become whole, the detecting of a narcissist takes care of itself, because I've found out that the more whole you become, and what I mean by becoming whole, you're focused inward on your abilities and what you can do to be a better person or better human being or better existence, so you can help someone else. In the helping someone, you don't have to think of things you can do for people. The more healed you become and the more healthy you become, the more opportunities to do for others will just present themselves. How organic and how simplistic is that? That's so simplistic. I compare that to breathing. As I'm talking to you, I don't have to say, wait, guys, let me take a breath. Unless I begin to just go so fast till sometimes in life you have to say, wait, let me catch my breath. But for the most part, when we talk, we don't have to stop, pause to think about what we really want to do in life or say in life, if it in fact is organically created from within you. There's never a day that goes by that there is nothing for me to do. I don't think the word bored, I don't really even think I use that word. And people do, not passing judgment on you, but I'm showing you, don't adopt those words, because those are the words that do nothing for you. They do nothing for you, period. I'm not here to say they're bad words or they're just terrible words. They're not designed to do anything for you that's beneficial. So you're thinking. I've always said in times past when I was growing up, you can be walking forward, but if you're thinking ass backwards, you're not really progressive in your life, because you're not progressive in your thinking. I told a guy, I said, when you go for a job interview or you go to apply for a job, you hear someone say, man, I'm going to apply for this job, but I know they're not going to hire me. Why are you going? And then you may say, justify your statement by saying, I know they're going to look at my criminal record and then they ain't going to let me. I got a story for you before I go. I got out of prison. It says, have you ever been convicted of a felony in the last 6 months? And this is for Walmart Supercenter. First job I got when I got out. Took about 3 months off just to kind of bond with my children, because I went through a transitioning class in prison, which I employ anybody who has someone incarcerated, encourage them to go into what they call a transition program. It's probably like 2 weeks or a week, maybe even a couple of hours. I don't know. But what they do, they give you tools to adopt into coming out of prison or jail. And what this essentially does, they teach you how to not allow yourself to go back out in society with your significant other, wife, girlfriend, even parents. Don't go back and expect things to be the way you left them, because a lot has changed since you've gone, even if it was like a month in this fast-paced world. So anyway, they teach you how to relinquish your power, control, dictates, and just sit in the shadow, sit in the stands, be a spectator. Unless you're asked to support or do something in that home, don't sit around like a couch potato. What I'm saying is, don't seek to get the control back. Yep, little mini narcissists out there, kids. I mean, boy, you don't even want to know. This stuff is all around. And they're just not kids having fun, by the way. Trust when I tell you that. So anyway, you transition, and it's very sound, man. It's 20-some years ago, and I still remember it. But I initiated this because oftentimes, as an empath, I'm gonna say narcissist, as an empath, all chosen one, if you have that energy, you're going to attract people with good energy, and they're going to give you good advice. They're going to give you good suggestions. And I'm believing that someone suggested this to me, just like someone has suggested that I fast in prison, and I gave up a 10-year cigarette habit. Haven't fasted since, a solemn fast since that, but I do believe in fasting. It's essentially going out eating, and you pray and you ask God to help you with this struggle by His Spirit, give you that strength and courage. Back to what I'm saying about the transitioning program. Yeah, it's a great thing to do if you got somebody or a loved one that's incarcerated that's going to be getting out soon. Now, I was going to tell you on my way out about how these people are just going to continue to do what they do unless you initiate the change within you. It's going to have to come straight from you. It's going to have to be how you look into yourself, which is introspecting. Now that you've gone through this treacherous deal of sorts that you didn't know was a deal that you signed onto, and they didn't honor the contract, and so this time away from them, you should really just count your blessings, because you and I are a rare breed, and for no other reason are we a rare breed. Just the fact that we are here to talk about this, and not just talk about it, but put it in perspective. I was going to do a whole video on this, but as I end, I just want you to know, I'm going to leave you with this. This is a strong word of encouragement. Today, don't you dare think about what you lost with the narcissist. Again, don't dare think about what you lost with the narcissist. Was it financial, cars, businesses? And I even want to say, if you aborted a child under the direction of a narcissist that didn't want to have the child, and you know it, wasn't wholeheartedly your decision, you were pressured, don't you dare keep digging that grave that the narcissist wants you to be in. They dug it, half dug it, but they gave you a shovel too, so you were helping dig your grave by believing in the bull that they told you. We are a rare breed, and hear me well, we are a rare breed, not just being chosen one, not just being empaths. Guess why? The whole video I was gonna make, I don't need to, because I can say it in a few words. You not only were awakened and got away, we are able to put it in perspective what kind of hypnosis we were up under, the spell we were up under. Do you know how many people that are yet involved? And we know people that are in what they call toxic relationships. Maybe a close friend, family, loved one, and you so much want to tell them, but if you're awakened and you're aware enough, and you understand, like Denzel Moss says, my boy, you understand that it's a futile effort. So you have to find a way to try to talk them away from this narcissist. Sometimes without even using those terms. Because if you say this out of pocket, the loved one you're trying to actually save, they will go back and divulge every detail, including the word narcissist, to that loved one out of a rage or anger. Out of an anger. And that's called reactive abuse. You go back and give it to them like they gave it to you. And so that won't end well with that victim, and it won't end well with you, because now you're just another piece of that puzzle that they have to destroy. So you do what you can in a wise fashion. I know you want to save them. I know you want to get them out of it. But the thing is, think about how you got out of it. You wouldn't have listened to someone told you this verbatim, word for word. It would have sounded like foolishness. This has to happen in God's timing, and it has to happen in a specific way as it pertains to each individual. We are a rare breed because we had little to nothing to do with how it happened, other than the fact that we were authentic. We really meant well. We meant everything we did. And I think that is the way that a person comes to this awakening, because you were genuine and the narcissist isn't. God had mercy on your situation. We're able to see it for what it is. We're able to call it out. We're able to recognize it. We're able to detect it and determine what type of move we should make from there. And this ran about 30 minutes, guys, but I love you and I appreciate everybody who subscribed to me. You can comment, like, and share. I don't say that often, but I do want to begin to say that. Like, share, comment, and continue to support me just by listening. And I appreciate it. Bless.